Hey everybody, I'm Brian Setzer of the Setzer Group, and one of our core values is continuous improvement. And after the events of Ahmaud Arbery and certainly George Floyd in the past few weeks, it really needs to be continuous improvement now. You know, one of the ways we tackle events in our society to help build a better understanding, a future of learning that it produces a better society, or a future of workplaces that are more equitable and sustainable, is we run a process called PDSA, Plan, Do, Study, Act. So when tragic events happen in our society, how are we looking at the research for our own organizations? How can we be more equitable, tolerant? How can we think about our own views on white supremacy and how we might assuage those by listening to audiences and experts that are different than our own? We do research to inform that planning cycle. Now, we struck out to plan a summer internship, the Setzer Group's first Ahmaud Arbery internship. And we're certainly looking at young people between the ages of 17 to 22. But we also want to put a focus on, how we think about that internship and how we learn from others. So we set out a do plan to reach out to our networks. What would be important? What kind of steps would we need to take on social media? What kind of requirements would we need to set so that that experience could be meaningful for a young entrepreneur of color or a young woman entering her first entrepreneurship opportunity? If you're going to set those do steps in motion, you have to study the response. How many applicants? How are you setting up a criteria to make that true? How are you setting aside resources to make that happen? Study what's happening in your networks and then act on the changes. Talk to people about onboarding or working with interns and what types of projects they might like to work on. That's the act part. Now, as soon as we encountered the George Floyd incident this past week, we went into motion around how could we help local municipalities. We wrote letters to chiefs of police and said, okay, if you're not already doing some training, what's your plan? What are the do steps to make sure to educate your officers and your communities on how to do things differently? And how do we study those results? What's the data? And then act on those interventions to be better and stronger as a society. If you get into the habit of using PDSA, you can have a value of continuous improvement that works for all.